All right, let's get into one of the wildest books you'll ever read, G.K. Chesterton's The Man Who Was Thursday. And you got to pay attention to that subtitle right there, A Nightmare. Trust me, that's not just a cool title, it's the key to this entire crazy journey.
Right from the dedication, Chesterton tells us what we're in for. He says, "This is a tale of those old fears, even of those emptied hells." So, yeah, this isn't your average spy thriller. We're about to take a deep dive into psychological terror, into doubt, and into the very nature of reality itself.
So, how does a nightmare like this begin? Well, it starts not in some dark, spooky alley, but in a weirdly perfect London suburb, with a heated argument between two poets, a philosophical fight that's about to get way too real.
The setting itself just feels off. Saffron Park is supposed to be this artsy, beautiful place, but even the sky seems to be in on some kind of secret plot. The sunset is described as having a violent secrecy, making the whole world feel like it's hiding something sinister right under your nose. And here are our two philosophical gladiators. On one side, you have Gabriel Syme. He's a poet of order, of logic, basically a man of common sense, which makes him a total rebel in this artsy neighborhood. And facing him is Lucian Gregory, the very picture of an anarchist. The book calls him a blend of the angel and the ape, a walking contradiction. And their argument over poetry, it's really a fight for the soul of the universe. So how do you get from a poetry debate to a full-blown nightmare? It happens when Gregory gets fed up with just talking and says to Syme, "You want to see real anarchy? I'll show you." And this is where the story plunges down the rabbit hole, leaving the surreal suburb behind for something much, much darker. And so the descent begins. They end up at this grimy, out-of-the-way pub. The artsy fantasy is officially over. This is the real world, and it's ugly. Gregory takes him into this dark little room that feels completely cut off from everything. But this isn't even the final destination. They go deeper, down through secret passages, until they step into this weird, steel, spherical room. It's not a cellar. It feels scientific, almost like a laboratory. And lining the walls are these dreadful metal shapes, like the eggs of iron birds. You can just feel the tension ratcheting up. What is this place? And there it is. The reveal is so simple, so chilling. They were bombs. The philosophical debate about chaos just became incredibly, lethally real. The whole room, we're told, felt like being inside of a bomb. So in this bomb maker's workshop, Syme has stumbled right into a secret meeting of the Central Anarchist Council. And get this, the members are all named after the days of the week, and each one of them is a walking, talking nightmare. First, there's Tuesday, a guy named Gogol. He's this absurd figure, covered in wild, theatrical hair. But Syme looks past the ridiculousness and sees this deep, genuine sadness in his eyes. It's that contrast, the bizarre hiding something tragic, that makes these characters so unsettling. Then you meet Monday, the secretary. His smile isn't friendly. It's a scar, like jagged lightning flashed across his face. He's the intellectual of the group, a fanatic who worships destruction and declares that dynamite is their ultimate symbol. This is the horror of pure, destructive ideas made flesh. And then there's Professor de Worms, or Friday, who is just horrifying. He's an old man who seems to be actively rotting away. He's wearing these fancy clothes, but it looks like someone dressed up a corpse. You realize this isn't just a gang of criminals, it's a living gallery of horrors. And at the head of this table of terrors sits their leader, the most frightening one of all. As Syme takes all this in, his fear begins to focus away from the group and onto the man at the center of it all, the colossal President Sunday. Sunday isn't just a big guy, he's impossibly big. He's described like a force of nature, a great mountain of a man. He eats with this terrifying energy, as if his very body operates by a different set of physical laws. He's not just a man, he's an enigma, a walking paradox. And this is where the fear gets really psychological. It's a primal, almost childlike terror. As Syme moves closer to him, he feels like Sunday's face is literally expanding, growing so large that it's about to break the rules of reality itself. He's not afraid of what Sunday might do, but of what Sunday is. So you have to ask yourself, what is Syme really afraid of here? It started with anarchists and bombs, but now it's something else entirely. It's a metaphysical dread.
A fear that the world he thought he knew is a sham, and that the laws of nature are being bent right in front of his eyes. And just when Syme's nightmare hits its absolute peak, the whole story gets flipped on its head. I'm not kidding. This is one of the most incredible twists in all of literature, where the very ground beneath his terror just vanishes. So after a frantic chase across Europe, Sim and some of the others, who he thinks are fellow cops, feel like they're finally trapped. It's over. And one of them says this line, basically admitting total defeat. But listen to that word, us. The professor, another one of the good guys, is completely confused. Us? What do you mean by us? The question just hangs there, completely loaded with suspense. Who is he talking about? And then the explosion. The Marquis just says, "The police, of course," and rips off his disguise. In that one insane, brilliant moment, Syme and we understand the impossible truth. Every single member of the Central Anarchist Council is also a secret detective. That's right, they were all undercover, every last one of them, recruited for a secret philosophical police force. They weren't fighting criminals, they were fighting a war of ideas, a last crusade against thinkers trying to destroy good and evil itself. And all this time, each man thought he was completely alone in the fight. So the nightmare of anarchy is over, but a much deeper, much stranger mystery has just opened up. If they are all the police, then who in the world is their leader? Sunday. The man who recruited them all and set them against each other? Is he the ultimate anarchist or the ultimate chief of police? The nightmare is done, but the dream has just gotten a whole lot weirder. And this final quote just says it all. The chase isn't about stopping a bomb anymore. It's a desperate search for meaning. They're not just trying to figure out who Sunday is. They're trying to figure out who they are and what this whole terrifying, absurd journey was all about. It's a question that leaves us right back where we started, in the beautiful, maddening heart of the nightmare.